plunder, kailangan pondo ng gobyerno ninakaw natin. O kundi kaya, yung case ni Erap, may binigay na pera, pagkatapos may kapalit. Wala namang kapalit. Wala namang hiningi. Nung ibinigay at tinulungan si Senator Marcoleta, ang standing niya sa survey, number 23. Hindi mo nga alam na mananalo si Senator Marcoleta. Ngayon, kinakasuhan kami at pinapabilis ang kaso. Ang sabi ko nga, kung may nagawa akong pagkakamali, kumain ako ng hopya sa opisina ni Senator Marcoleta.
Good day po sa lahat, si Fiscal EJ po ito. Before we begin, quick disclaimer lang. This video is for public education only. It is not legal advice. And nothing in this discussion should be interpreted as a declaration that any person is guilty or innocent of any crime. Under our Constitution, every accused person is presumed innocent until proven guilty in court. Now let's talk about a question that many people are asking. Pwede bang magkaroon ng plunder kahit hindi galing sa gobyerno ang pera? A lot of people automatically think that plunder only happens when a public official steals government funds. Pero kapag binasa natin mismo ang Anti-Plunder Act, makikita natin na mas malawak ang saklaw ng batas. Under Republic Act No. 7080 or the Anti-Plunder Act, plunder is committed when a public officer accumulates or acquires ill-gotten wealth worth at least 50 million pesos through a series or combination of criminal or overt acts. Now, how is plunder committed? The law requires several elements. First element, the accused is a public officer or a private individual conspiring with a public officer. Second element, the accused acquires or accumulates ill-gotten wealth. Third element, the ill-gotten wealth is obtained through a combination or series of overt or criminal acts. And fourth element, the total value of the ill-gotten wealth reaches at least 50 million pesos. Importante po ang phrase na series or combination. A series means repeated acts of the same nature that result in the accumulation of ill-gotten wealth. Hindi sapat ang isang isolated act. Kailangang may dalawa o higit pang magkakaparehong acts na nagresulta sa pag-ipon ng ill-gotten wealth. For example, Congressman A allegedly received separate donations of 30 million from X, 25 million from Y, and 20 million from Z by reason of his office. Assuming the other elements of the crime are present, these multiple acts of receiving donations, which individually are acts of indirect bribery, is treated as a series because they involve the same type of act repeated several times. A combination, on the other hand, involves different schemes or methods that all contribute to the accumulation of ill-gotten wealth. In other words, maaaring magkaiba ang mga paraan o scheme, pero kapag pinagsama-sama ang mga ito at umabot sa threshold amount na itinakda ng batas, pasok sa konsepto ng plunder. For example, Mayor X allegedly received 30 million in kickbacks from government contractors, misappropriated 25 million in public funds, and obtained 20 million in illegal benefits from a government transaction. Assuming the other elements of the crime are present, these different acts may constitute a combination because they involve different methods of acquiring ill-gotten wealth. So the law is not merely looking at one transaction. Tinitingnan nito ang kabuuang pattern ng acquisition ng yaman. Now here's the part that many people overlook. The Anti-Plunder Act does not only cover money taken directly from government coffers. Many people assume that plunder can only happen when a public official steals government money. While that is certainly one way of committing plunder, hindi doon nagtatapos ang batas. Section 1, Paragraph D, Subparagraph 2 of the Anti-Plunder Act expressly provides that ill-gotten wealth may be acquired by receiving, directly or indirectly, any commission, gift, share, percentage, kickbacks, or any other form of pecuniary benefit from any person and or entity in connection with any government contract or project, or by reason of the office or position of the public officer concerned. Notice what the law says. The provision does not talk only about government funds. It specifically mentions commissions, gifts, kickbacks, and other pecuniary benefits received from any person and or entity. In other words, the source of the money can be private individuals or private entities. Ang legal issue ay hindi lang kung saan nanggaling ang pera. The more important question is whether the money, gift, or benefit was received by reason of the office or position of the public officer concerned. Now, if that element is present, the law will treat such benefits as ill-gotten wealth. Question fiscal. Why is this relevant to the complaint against Senator Marcoleta? Kasi, based on the reports, former lawmaker Mike Defensor and businessman Joseph Espiritu and Aristotol Veray allegedly submitted proof showing that they provided a total of 75 million pesos. The amounts reportedly consisted of 30 million pesos from Mike Defensor, 25 million pesos from Joseph Espiritu, and 20 million from Aristotol Veray. Marcoleta himself reportedly acknowledged in public discussions that he received donations from friends at a time when he was not yet a candidate. The complainants are not alleging that the money came from government funds. Rather, the allegation is that the money constituted ill-gotten wealth because it allegedly consisted of gifts or pecuniary benefits received by then Congressman Marcoleta by reason of his public office. Ayon sa mga complainants, hindi ito simpleng isang beses na pagtanggap ng pera. Ang kanilang argumento ay mayroong multiple donations mula sa iba't ibang tao na kapag pinagsama-sama ay umano'y bumubuo ng isang series of acts at umaabot sa 50 million pesos threshold na kailangan para sa plunder. What's important to understand is that, according to the allegations, ang issue rito is not whether Senator Marcoleta was already a candidate. Ang issue na binabanggit ng mga complainants is that he was already a sitting congressman when the alleged transfers took place. According to their theory, mahirap paniwalaan na someone would give 20 million, 25 million, or 30 million to a sitting congressman and sabihin na completely unrelated iyon sa kanyang public office. Hindi naman ordinaryong pangyayari na may nagbibigay ng ganitong kalaking halaga sa isang public official for purely personal reasons. In fact, even assuming na walang hinihinging pabor, kontrata o anumang government action kapalit ng pera, the complainants argue that this does not necessarily take the transaction outside the scope of the law. Under the concept of indirect bribery, what is punished is the acceptance of gifts given by reason of a public officer's office even without proof of a specific agreement. So ang argumento nila is simple. If the alleged 30 million, 25 million, and 20 million were indeed given by reason of his position as a congressman, then this would not be treated as one isolated transaction but as three similar but separate acts involving the receipt of substantial pecuniary benefits. Taken together, the complainants contend that these acts may constitute a series of overt or criminal acts of indirect bribery. At dahil ang total amount ay lampas 50 million, the statutory threshold for plunder is likewise met. Of course, allegations pa lamang ang mga ito. Now, whether these transfers were truly given by reason of public office, whether indirect bribery was actually committed, and whether the elements of plunder can ultimately be established are questions that can only be resolved through the proper legal process and ultimately by the courts. Makakasuhan ba si Senator Marcoleta for plunder? Abangan ang susunod na kabanata. So yan lang po ang nais kong ibahagi today and see you in my next video. Maraming salamat po.